And remember, you can't score any runs unless you get some hits. All right, now let's get a hitter up there. You kid, what's your name?
Ruth, sir.
Ruth, what?
George Herman Ruth, sir. But my friends call me Babe.
Babe. Another Babe Ruth. Well, step up to the plate, Babe, and maybe swat out a few. Hey, Turk, chuck a few into the next Babe Ruth.
When you've got a well-known name, people expect a lot. We've got a beer named after the city that means beer, Old Milwaukee. It's a tough name to live up to, but Old Milwaukee is one of the fastest growing major beers in the country.
Tell me, Babe, you don't happen to know any kids named Garrick, do you?
Old Milwaukee beer tastes as great as its name.
Coors. 105 years of only pure Rocky Mountain spring water. Make it yours. Make it Coors.
Question. Who's drinking light beer? Fact is, Pabst Extra Light gives you more reason than ever. Fact. Pabst Extra Light is the first naturally brewed light beer with half the calories of our regular beer. And that's far less filling. Fact. Natural brewing with no artificial ingredients makes it pure beer drinking pleasure. Pabst Extra Light. Half the calories, all the taste naturally. And those are the facts of light.
Fire Brewing. It's more than a way to make Stroh's and Stroh Light. It's a family tradition, passed down from one generation to another for over 200 years. It's what guarantees that smooth, consistent taste for generations to come.
A good time better with a good time beer. And Stroh's is spoken here. Stroh's is spoken here.
It started out as a party, but turned into a case of the missing case.
Groovy shindig.
What turned out the lights?
Oh, Mickey!
It's okay, doll.
Oh, it's not. There's a case of Miller Lite missing.
Who took it? Somebody in this room.
Rodney! Hey, guys, take it easy, will you?
Why'd you do it, Rodney? 'Cause light tastes great?
Yeah!
'Cause light's less filling.
I didn't do it. Well, I'm not even Rodney.
You! I thought it was a costume party. Great mask, huh?
But if he didn't do it,
Who did?
they'll never figure out who took that case.
Oh, Mickey, you did!
Not exactly.
Hiya, doll.
Gotcha.
Well, I'm glad we didn't go dancing.
It's no mystery that there's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
Ondecker. You may not have heard of it yet.
But you will.
Ondecker. You may not think a beer this expensive could be worth the extra money.
But you will.
Ondecker. Costly ingredients, patient aging. You don't know what a difference that makes.
But you will.
Ondecker. The most expensive taste in beer. If you haven't tried it yet, you will.
Man's best friend? Depends on the man. Depends on the dog. Depends on the beer. But when a man has been working like a dog, well, he wants to come home and find something that seems to make it all worthwhile. Now, a cold nose is just fine. But a cold Budweiser, well, that's even better. Taste, smoothness, drinkability. Well, you tell him, partner. Put a collar on man's real best friend, Budweiser. Right, pal?
Budweiser
is the king of beer. But you know that
Presenting the cold, refreshing mountains of Bush. The mountain, symbol of all the good natural ingredients that go into Bush. Symbol of all the good natural taste that pours out. Always smooth and natural and refreshing. Bush after bush after bush. So don't just reach for a beer. Head for the mountains.
To open a door on the rest of the world and step out, falling free, 2 miles, straight down. You go for it. You go for all the gusto you can get, making the most of now. From the life you live to the beer you drink. Schlitz, the one beer brewed with gusto since 1849. The official beer of the Winter Olympics. Go for it.
When the sun goes down and the evening rolls around, that's the time I find got blue ribbon on my mind. I've got that blue ribbon on my mind. More and more lately I find I've got a taste for living. I'm thinking cold blue ribbon. I've got that blue ribbon on my mind.
Naturally good Pabst. America's premium beer since 1844. Pabst. A lot to look forward to.
From the land of sky blue waters, from the land of pines, lofty balsams, comes the beer refreshing.
You can't beat the bear for fun or hams for great taste. Always refreshing. And when you want a light beer, enjoy a cold, crisp Hams Special Light. Watch it!
Hams the beer refreshing. Hams the beer refreshing. Hams. When you're thirsting for a beer or two, but what you're doing isn't through, that's the time to take a natural break.
Anheuser-Busch Natural Light. Brewed naturally with nothing artificial to give you a crisp, refreshing beer that won't fill you up, so it won't slow you down.
Take a natural break. Anheuser-Busch Natural Light. It's time to
Take a natural break.
natural. Taste the high country. Taste the high country.
Once you taste the high country, no downstream beer will do. Coors is brewed with pure Rocky Mountain spring water and its own special high country barley.
It's no downstream beer. It's no city beer. It's Coors.
Taste the high country. Climb up to Coors.
Oh, man, you know the rules, Jeb. First man in the water's got to buy the beer. For everybody.
And Jeb, I hope you're better at picking beer than you are log roller.
And Jeb, you better make it a good one.
Hey, what happened, Jeb? Get caught in the rain?
When you have to get the beer, don't fool around. Get the best name in the business. Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee!
Old Milwaukee is named after the city that means beer. It's the fastest growing major beer in the country.
Jeb, you're a lot better at picking beer than you are at log rolling. Well, I think I do pretty good at both.
Old Milwaukee beer tastes as great as its name.
All right, maybe I wasn't the greatest player of all time, but fans, they forgive and forget. When I go in here, they'll be buying me my favorite beer, light beer from Miller. You, Bob Uecker? Yeah, how you doing? These fans, I love them. They know us ex-big leaguers drink light because it's less filling and it tastes great. Well, can't keep the gang waiting. Fans are always joking.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
they're having a good time in there.
It's not just a race. It's a game. If they think I'm tired, maybe they'll make their move. Then I'll make mine.
Bring out your best. You gotta reach deep inside. Bring out your best. Come on, bring out that pride. Bring out your best.
The best never comes easy. That's why there's nothing else like it. Budweiser Light.
Bring out your best. Budweiser Light. Bring out your best. Budweiser Light. Bring out your best.
The best. You found it in yourself, and now you found it in the beer you drink.
Budweiser Light.
If you're looking for a beer that's born wet and clear, born in the land of sky blue waters, then reach for a Hamm's, reach for a Hamm's, Hamm's, the beer you've been looking for. Hamm's is the beer you've been looking for. Hamm's, the beer you've been looking for. Reach for a Hamm's. Reach for a Hamm's, the beer you've been looking for.
Are you drinking America's best brewed premium beer? Once, all quality beers were brewed with only the purest water and an expensive old world way of brewing called krausening. But today, only one major premium beer is still brewed this way. Only one. Not Miller, not Stroh's, not Coors, not even Budweiser. Only Heileman's old-style beer is still brewed with pure artesian spring water and fully krausened. Old Style, America's best brewed premium beer.
How about Michelob Light for the winners? Sure. But we get mighty thirsty.
Would a bunch of guys really go at it this hard just for a beer? Well, consider it's Michelob Light, and that means a rich, smooth taste you can compare to any beer you like.
Those guys could have beaten the Russians today. You think they'd play us for a Michelob Light?
Michelob Light. Compare the taste.
The Florida Keys and Milwaukee are a whole country apart. But to these guys, they both mean something great. The Keys mean stone crab, big and fresh. And Milwaukee means beer, cold, crisp, old Milwaukee beer. And man, you can't have one without the other.
Whenever you think of the town of Milwaukee,
You think of beer.
and old Milwaukee tastes as great as its name.
You know what? Doesn't get any better than this.
Michelob brings you the 7-day weekend. Good eating style. The special of the week for gourmet's delight. Here's how to add a little weekend flavor to any dish. Serve with generous portions of Michelob. Because that smooth and mellow taste helps make any time feel a little like a weekend.
Put a little weekend in your week.
Yeah.
This Bud's for all the guys who keep the action from getting out of hand.
This Bud's for you, for all you do. The king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
odds for you.
There's an art to brewing in God's country. You start with the finest grains. Add choice imported and domestic hops and water. Virgin pure spring water. Then you age it slowly, naturally, in the old world brewing tradition known as krausening. Heileman's Old Style. Pure brewed in God's country, slowly and naturally.
Okay, guys, I was a little off. We're not on Route 35. We're on Jackrabbit Road.
Jackrabbit Road?
Yeah, we're not in Pennsylvania. We're in West Virginia.
West Virginia?
They got some great-looking steaks inside, and Lowenbrow on top.
Let's go.
When you want the taste of a truly great beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
He really lucked out this time.
I knew Lowenbrow.
I make one trick shot in a light beer commercial, and everybody thinks they know how to shoot pool. So these guys decided to take me on to shoot a little pool and drink a little light beer from Miller. Because it's less filling.
Tastes great!
Less filling.
Let's quit talking and start choking.
You break, Bubba. Sure, I haven't broken anything all day.
Hey, Mickey, what happened? It's a mystery to me.
You show him, Rodney.
Yeah, show
You guys got me all wrong. I think light tastes great, too. But when you're shooting pool, the only thing you want to get filled up is the bottle. 14 6 combination.
Steve, how do you do that?
Practice, practice, practice.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Welcome to Miller Time.
Miller Time begins here, where Miller High Life waits for the finest ingredients to reach their golden best. Then we go beyond ingredients and use the finest brewing skills, making sure Miller High Life contains no additives and no preservatives. So come your Miller Time, you get nothing but the fresh, smooth taste of just pure beer. Welcome to Miller High Life.
Welcome to Miller Time.
Do you think light beers are all pretty much the same? Then Olympia Gold wants you to watch this. If our competition gave you only 70 calories, their cans would have to look like this. Miller Lite, Natural Light, and Michelob Light. That'd be the size of it. But slow-brewed Olympia Gold is the only leading light beer that gives you this much refreshment and only 70 calories. So if you love beer but hate calories, you want today's richer, smoother-tasting Olympia Gold. It's what light beer was meant to be.
When you're a big guy like me, people always want to see just how strong you are. So after this arm works, this arm always relaxes with light beer from Miller. The light's got a third less calories than the regular beer, and it tastes great. What I like about it is it's less filling. So when you're in a hot match like this, you can't afford to get filled up.
You have the time?
Yeah. About 8:30.
Yeah, thanks.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Next.
I got a dream, comes from the heart of the heartland. I can make my dream, cause I take my dream right from the heart of the heartland. I won't rest, I'm gonna reach for the best, got it all here in my hand. And wherever I go, I'm gonna let them know it's coming right from the heart of the heartland.
In the heartland, people know what it means to reach for a dream. That's where Old Style is brewed. Brewed with a dream. Not to be the biggest beer in America, just the best.
Of the heartland, I can make my dream.
Reach for the best. Old Style beer.
Phil Murray thought the Blatz taste tests were phony until he took one.
Like this one better.
You do? Why?
It's a lot lighter.
What is it?
Blatz.
Don't fall over. What happened?
The one on the right was lighter and better tasting beer than the one on the left. I chose the right, and it was Blatz.
When I asked you about those Blatz commercials on television, what'd you say?
I told you they were funny.
What do you think now?
I believe the commercials. I mean, I like the beer.
You've come to fly before the wind, harnessed to a wildcat, suspended above the waves like the man on the flying trapeze, straining to get every ounce out of her. And moving so fast, the mast begins to sing, leaving the rest of the world behind. So you go for it, making the most of now. From the life you live to the beer you drink. And since 1849, the beer that makes the most out of life is Schlitz. That's why every day, millions of times a day, America reaches for a Schlitz.
When you're making it beer, make it just one beer. Schlitz makes it great.
Go for it.
From the land of sky blue waters.
No matter what your idea of fun is, it's always better when you top it off with a great tasting Hamm's beer. You'll find the land of sky blue waters in every Hamm's.
Hamm's for beer refreshing. Hamm's.
Register to win an Alaskan fishing trip and prizes from Daiwa and Igloo. Sweepstakes details at participating stores where Hamm's is sold.
There's nothing easy about taking an old high-wheeler for a spin. Yet today there are people who feel that a ride on one of these is a joy and one of the perils from the past worth recapturing. These high-wheelers come to us from a time when life's pace was a little slower and a little simpler. And so does Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. Pabst recaptures the flavor of those great times. And because beer still means something special to you, we haven't changed the way we brew Pabst. Slow and natural is our way today, just as it was when we won the Blue Ribbon as the nation's best. Good old-time flavor. Pabst Blue Ribbon, for those who feel beer is something special. Brewed by the first of the great Milwaukee brewers. They look like displaced train engines, these strange contraptions from another time. And today at an old-time threshing bee, these great machines take you back to the rugged excitement of the days when steam powered the harvest. To have a Pabst Blue Ribbon beer is to recapture that same feeling. People still look for and enjoy the good things from the past. Pabst Blue Ribbon is one of them. Still brewed slowly and naturally, like it was when it won the Blue Ribbon. Good old-time flavor for those who feel beer is something special. Pabst Blue Ribbon, brewed by the first of the great Milwaukee brewers.
We wanted you to appreciate the bold taste of cold-filtered Pabst Genuine Draft and bright, refreshing Pabst Light. So we made the first ever scratch and sniff commercial. We figure if you scratch the box and experience the aroma, you'll hear us when we say, if you can't taste the difference, why pay the difference? But we didn't find out until after we shot the film that technology hasn't yet made this possible. Sorry. We hope you'll try Pabst Genuine Draft and Pabst Light anyway. Thanks.
Duncan, something to drink. 2 weeks in the desert and you bring us beer? We want something special. Bull. Bull?
The Schlitz Malt Liquor Bull. It is a special premium brew that's in a glass by itself.
What extraordinary taste. Gungadin, how can we repay you?
Well, Sahib, I do take all major credit cards.
If you want a change of pace with a big, bold taste, don't say beer, say bull. Bull. The Schlitz Malt Liquor Bull.
You know, one of the best things about being an ex-big leaguer is getting freebies to the game. Call the front office, bingo. And once these fans recognize me, I probably won't even have to pay for my light beer from Miller. Down it! I love them. These fans know I drink light because it's less filling and it tastes great. Good seats, huh?
You're in the wrong seat, buddy. Come on.
Oh, I must be in the front
Come
row.
on, come on.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Good seats, hey, buddy. He missed the tag. He missed the tag.
Around here people seem to say it all without saying a word.
There are still places where you can shake a man's hand, buy him a Miller, and you've got yourself a deal.
Miller's made the American way. Born and brewed in the USA. Just as proud as the people who are drinking it today.
Miller Beer. Purity you can see, quality you can taste.
Miller's made the American way.
Around here you can tell a friend's a friend. When you need him, he's there.
There's still a place where friend is a word you take seriously, where beer is beer, and the brand is Miller.
Miller's made the American way. Born and brewed in the USA. Just as proud as the people who are drinking it today.
Miller Beer. Purity you can see, quality you can taste.
Miller's made the American way.
I mortgaged my house to get my first tug. Believe me, the Jeannie T needed plenty of work.
Good night, Skipper.
Today, I own 2 others just like her. Because we give our customers a good, honest pull for the money, and that pays off. People who make Meisterbrow work the same way. These days, I can pick any beer I want. This tastes as good as Budweiser, and it doesn't cost as much. Gentlemen, the drinking lamp is lit.
Introducing Meisterbrow. Tastes as good as Budweiser at a better price.
Treasure hunt isn't a kid's game when you're living and your life depend on it. Sharks don't play games. Their ancestors must have had quite a feast 250 years ago when a hurricane sank a fleet of Spanish galleons, along with $14 million in gold doubloons and pieces of 8. If you're lucky, you find some of it. If you're even luckier, you live to tell about it. And man, that's when you know what life really is. You only go around once. You gotta grab for all the gusto you can, even in the beer you drink. Why settle for less? When you're out of Schlitz, you're out of beer.
Isn't it time you tried the distinctive old world taste of Special Export? Only Special Export uses sparkling pure virgin spring water, carefully selected barley, choice brewing rice, and for that European taste, imported Spalt and Hallertau hops. Special Export is fully kreuzt, naturally carbonated, double brewed, the old world way. Try it and you'll agree. You can travel the world over and never find a better beer.
Looky there, little fella. Big Ed with an itty-bitty can of Budweiser.
Ah, yes, it's straight from the horse's mouth. But seriously, folks, we call it the Bud Half Pint. It's 8 easy-tasting ounces of the king of beers. It's perfect when you want a lot of quality, a little at a time. When you say Bud Half Pint, you've said it all.
Wrong, Eduardo. You've said it short.
How come I'm always the straight man?
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
Where'd he go?
The beer will
I think he's lost.
Must
He
say
always
something
gets
more
lost.
somehow.
Hey, anybody miss me? Hang out there. You know how long you've been gone? Take a look at this.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrau.
And here's to our travel agent.
Who knows what's real today? Artificial this, artificial that. It's almost everywhere. But not in Pabst beers. Because Pabst won't shortcut nature with chemicals or artificial ingredients. Pabst Blue Ribbon, Pabst Extra Light, Ondecker. Pabst brews the best taste in beer. Honestly. Quality since 1844.
It took me 3 hours to fix Carlos's car. You fixed it. And what do I get? Light beer. I fixed it. Did you ever taste light beer? This is Coors Light.
The surprising taste of Coors Light comes from pure Rocky Mountain spring water.
You like it, don't you?
And a way of brewing that squeezes a lot of the calories out.
Well?
But leaves all the taste in.
Admit it. All right, it's good. I'm surprised.
Coors Light, the surprise is how good it
I thought you
tastes.
said you fixed it.
Should have been here by now. He's late. All I can say is, he better bring us the best.
Listen.
When people are counting on you to come through, don't disappoint them. If you said you'd get the beer, why fool around? Get the beer named after Milwaukee, the city that means beer.
Got you the best name in the business.
Old Milwaukee. It's a tough name to live up to. But Old Milwaukee beer is one of the fastest growing major beers in the country.
You forgot the pretzel!
If you like the flavor of draft beer so much you'd like to take a barrel home, now you can. Draft brewed Blatz in barrel bottles. Just snap off the top and drink straight from the wide mouth. There's a whole barrel of flavor in every bottle. Get hold of a barrel of Blatz. Or 6. After all, where else would you expect to find draft brewed Blatz? In barrels, naturally.
Orlando represents the tying run now, and with his speed, he'll go for the steal. You know he's got the green light.
Maybe I can scare him.
I really scared him. The best never comes easy. That's why there's nothing else like it. Budweiser Light.
Bring out your best Budweiser Light. Bring out your best Budweiser Light. Bring out your best Budweiser Light.
The best. You found it in yourself, and now you've found it in the beer you drink.
Never stops refreshing you.
Want another Hamm's? Have another. It's brewed with water best for brewing. So light on your thirst, it keeps on refreshing you. Glass after glass.
Round after round it goes and never stops refreshing. Round after round. Hands after hands. Round after round it goes and never stops refreshing. Stops refreshing you.
Want to stay refreshed? Fight for Hamm's.
You know, baseball cards are real popular these days. For one Ron Say, I can get a whole case of my favorite beer, Miller Lite. I don't want some watered-down minor league version of a regular beer. I want the less filling beer that tastes great.
Hey, Ace, give me 2 cases, you can have this baby. Dream on. 1 case. Nope, a 6-pack. Half a can?
The big league light beer, Miller Lite, where less filling tastes great.
Okay, I'll give you 2 cases, and you don't have to take the card. But that's my final offer. Must have a couple of mine already. Whoa.
There's no place on earth that I'd rather be than out in the open where it's all plain to see. If it's gonna get done, it's up to you and to me. There's no place that I'd rather be. Head for the mountains of bush. Head for the mountains of bush.
to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
Where you been? Well, it wasn't easy getting tickets for this game.
Hey, Bob. Eddie, I know exactly what I want. I want the biggest steak you've got and a bottle of Lowenbrow.
Steak and Lowenbrow. Dolan, you're a genius.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Here's to the chef. Here's to the bartender.
Lifting all that weight makes me feel just great. Now's the time I find, got Blue Ribbon on my mind. Yeah, I came in first, worked up a great big thirst. Wanna just unwind, got Blue Ribbon on my mind. I've got Pabst Blue Ribbon on my mind. More and more lately I find I've got a taste for living. I'm thinking cold Blue Ribbon. I've got Pabst Blue Ribbon on my mind.
Naturally good Pabst. America's premium beer since 1844. Pabst. A lot to look forward to.
I've got Pabst Blue Ribbon on my mind.
All right, the week's over. Yeah, and the weekend's just beginning.
Come on, we'll show you how a good time goes. We're going to a place where they talk Stroh's. Cause a good time's better with a good time beer. And Stroh's is spoken here.
Here's how the good times get better. Stroh's and Stroh Light 15 and 30 packs. A convenient package at a special value. Get them wherever you buy your beer.
Stroh's is spoken here.
And it's another wonderful day with WFLH on the Miami beaches, with temperatures in the 80s and sunshine all the way.
I looked out this morning and the sun was gone. Turned on some music to start my day. Lost myself in a familiar song. I closed my eyes and she slipped away.
Snake River, Wyoming, and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. The Snake River means fly fishing for lunker cutthroat trout, and Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer, and smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place, an Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light.
Fellas, it just doesn't get any better than this.
Being an all-round cowboy isn't always a case of throwing a perfect loop. Sometimes it's a sack of potatoes. And when you're ready for a second opinion, head for the beer brewed natural as a mountain stream, for a taste as smooth as its name.
Well, that was really good. Once more? Sure.
Head for Bush beer.
Head for the mountains.
Imagine for a moment that you're in the gay 90s, headed for an evening at the best spot in town.
Bartender, 3 more blue ribbons.
Imagine you're here to enjoy the great premium beer of the day, Pabst Blue Ribbon.
More Pabst.
Pabst was brewed for people who really liked beer.
3 more blue ribbons. Bartender.
This was the time Pabst was the beer. And now that you've imagined what the gay 90s were like, you know what our beer's all about. Good old-time flavor. Original Pabst Blue Ribbon beer is still brewed today the old-time premium way by the first of the great Milwaukee brewers.
Black Label, it's beer at its best.
Schlitz introduces a new six-pack. Eddie O'Brien, John Gulliner, Tony Marola, Pete Halecki, Jeff Levitt, Frank Williams.
Come on. Come on. Relax. We're carrying precious cargo. He thinks he's bringing in a 747.
All right, let's get to work.
When the six-pack starts to roll, things start happening. Life has much more gusto, that's for sure.
Service for 6. And a little music to dine by.
Good times start brewing when you open a Schlitz. It pulls together with that great taste of gusto. Good times start brewing when you open a Schlitz. It brings the guys together again.
Good friends and a good beer don't come easy. So when you find them, you hold on to them. And since 1849, more men have been holding on to the gusto of Schlitz than any other beer.
Hey, come on, guys. There's 2 minutes till game time.
Relax. This could be the best game we ever missed.
Hey, a little gusto is a musto. Good times start brewing when you open a Schlitz. Good times start brewing when you open a Schlitz.
Okay, let's settle back with an ice cold Strohs and see how we did in Saturday's game. Lights. Here we are going out for a pass. And here's Hurley's Pub intercepting. Here we are going out for a pass again. Here's Hurley's Pub intercepting. Here's Hurley himself bringing out the Strohs for his team. Here we are intercepting.
Strohs and Stroh Light. Fire brewed for great taste and good times.
This bartender's next big league pitcher and loves to serve fire brewed Strohs. See what I mean? That was his fastball. That was the curve. Look out. Wild pitch.
What was that?
Relief pitcher.
Strohs and Stroh Light, fire brewed for smoother taste.
When you're thirsting for a beer or two, but what you're doing isn't through, that's the time to take a natural break.
Anheuser-Busch Natural Light. Brewed naturally with nothing artificial to give you a crisp, refreshing beer that won't fill you up, so it won't slow you down.
Hey, give me a hand!
Anheuser-Busch Natural Light. It's time to take
Take a natural break.
It's quiz time.
What do we have?
I'm looking for a quality flavor. I'm looking for a smooth, rich flavor. I've got to have traditional flavor, the kind you only find in a Pabst Blue Ribbon. What do you have? What do you have? I'm looking for a classic flavor. What do you have? What do you have? I'm looking for the taste I savor. What do you have? I've got to have that clean, crisp flavor of Pabst Blue Ribbon. I'm looking for a holiday flavor. I'm looking for a classic flavor. What do you have? Pabst Blue Ribbon beer.
Consider yourself lucky. Charlie was 6 months old when he started to walk. He drove me up the wall.
Did you ever notice how most beers are taken for granted? Most beers are taken for granted, but there's one beer that isn't. Let's replay this scene.
Hey. Aha, Michelob. What's the occasion?
Really living it up, huh, Larry? Why not? Michelob, great. What are we celebrating?
Michelob, since 1896, brewed by Anheuser-Busch. It's the beer that isn't taken for granted. The beer people really don't expect you to serve them. It's an unexpected pleasure, so surprise people. Serve Michelob.
Everybody wins tonight.
Driving cattle. days are long and your work is hot and dusty, there's just one thing you want to do. Head for the mountains. Bush. Head for the beer that always goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Bush. Brewed just one way, the natural way, for a taste that's always as smooth as its name. Bush.
Head for Bush beer. Head for the mountain. Head for Bush beer. Head for the mountain. Head for Bush beer.
Budweiser is the king of beer. Budweiser. But you know that. But you know that. But you know that. But you know that. Budweiser is the king of beer. Budweiser. But you know that. But you know that. But you know that. But you know that. Budweiser makes it all the way. One taste and then you've got to say.
Some guy wants to know, who says Bud's the king of beers?
Well, let's tell him. Everybody! Now, gang, right from the top.
Budweiser is the king of beer. Budweiser. But you know that. But you know that. With all the beers there are today, Budweiser makes it all the way. All the way.
Now he wants to know, what's so big about Beechwood aging?
The answer is right on the label. It produces a taste, a smoothness, and a drinkability you will find in no other beer at any price. Okay, shall we?
With all the beers there are today, Budweiser makes it all the way, all the way.
Now he wants to know where Bud makes it.
Well, tell him that's on the label, too. St. Louis, Los Angeles, Tampa.
That's not what he means. Bud makes it.
At home.
Restaurants.
Taverns.
Everywhere. You'll pay for this. All right, right from the top. Now, one more time.
Budweiser is the king of beer. Budweiser. But you know that. But you know that. But you know that. But you know that. Budweiser is the king of beer. Budweiser. But you know that. But you know that. But you know that. But you know that.
Of course I know that. But if McMahon can interrupt my show with his commercial, I can interrupt his commercial with my shoe.
Hey, Ed, how long people been putting that Budweiser label on things?
Well, not as long as we've been putting things on the Budweiser label. It's been listing ingredients since 1876. Like we've been saying, read the label. Look, choicest hops, rice, and best barley malt.
Sounds good to me.
When you say Budweiser,
You've said it